From the South Carolina Honors College, this is Polluting Patients. If the U.S. healthcare sector were a country, it would rank 13th in the world for greenhouse gas emissions. The goal of Polluting Patients is to teach people about the environmental and corresponding health impacts of the U.S. healthcare system and what we, as healthcare consumers, clinicians, and leaders, can do about it.
Welcome to Polluting Patients. I'm going to be your host, Miley Phillips. Now, before we start this journey, I just wanted to have you guys get to know me a little bit better and kind of give a background into why I made this podcast and wanted to explore this topic. So, a little bit about me. I'm an undergraduate student at the University of South Carolina Honors College studying public health, and I'm also going to be beginning medical school in the fall. Outside of my passion for public health and medicine, I've always had a passion for environmental sustainability. And I really think that came from growing up in the Southeast, specifically in the low country of South Carolina, where for as long as I could remember, I didn't have to evacuate or plan for hurricanes or things like that. But all of a sudden, around middle school, every year after that, we had a hurricane that we would miss school for, have to evacuate. And I kind of wanted to know why. And that kind of piqued my interest into learning a little bit more about climate change and why these things were happening more and more and why it seems to get hotter and hotter every summer. And so all of that started a passion for the environment and doing things to mitigate my impact and fight the fight against climate change. And since everyone who knows me knows that I have a love for both sustainability and like protecting the environment as well as clinical medicine and things like that, everyone always brings up to me about if I know anything about the environmental impact of the healthcare system or hospitals, because, when they are a patient or they're providing care to a patient, they always say that how baffled they are by the amounts of waste that is made for even simple things like drawing blood. Also, they wonder about how much energy and water is used that power day-to-day activities in clinics and hospitals. And honestly, I've always kind of wondered that too. Because of that, I was inspired to dive deeper and look into the healthcare system's impact. And what I have found has shocked me. The United States healthcare system is majorly contributing to our nation's overall greenhouse gas emissions. And while that's inherently bad and definitely affects the health of our environment and ourselves, there's ways that the system can improve so that it's not so costly to the environment. And so diving into that a little bit more has been what has inspired me to make this podcast. I wanted to create something where healthcare consumers or clinicians or healthcare managers can learn about how each part of their day-to-day is impacting the environment and in turn all our health. In addition to teaching everyone about the impact, I also hoped that this podcast would energize us to push for a greener healthcare system that promotes our health and the planet's health as well. Each episode of this podcast is going to outline the environmental and health impacts of specific aspects of the healthcare system. Things like AI use in electronic medical records to things such as systems waste. I also am going to offer insights onto sustainability interventions that hospitals can implement or, the system in general can implement to mitigate its impact, and also talk about how hospitals and the government and even us as individuals can make those positive changes happen. Now, this podcast won't just be me the whole time talking your ear off about facts and things that are going on and ways to make what's happening within the healthcare sector better. I'm excited to share that Polluting Patients is also going to feature an interview with a future leader in the fight for climate-smart healthcare, student Dr. Akil Mandalafu, who is a member of the organization Medical Students for a Sustainable Future. And we are going to get to see the impact of future healthcare leaders and what they're doing right now. If anything I've just said has piqued your interest and sounds like something you might want to learn a little bit more about, please subscribe to the Polluting Patients podcast on YouTube and stay tuned for the next episode where I dive in a little bit deeper about the problem that is the greenhouse gas emissions from the United States healthcare system and how it in turn is negatively impacting our health as well as the environment. And with that,
thanks for listening to Polluting Patients. Remember, a healthier planet is a prescription for healthier people. Keep pushing for sustainability in healthcare. See you next time.